shouldn't be blue. I want it to be true. Don't want to be trapped on doing what I should. Don't want to work all day, always dressed in gray. Responsibility.
Hey, welcome to the Rebel Podcast. This is Debra Danielson. Exciting changes that I'm going to share with you today. My partner, who has been co-hosting with me here, Waylon, he will be joining us via a Zoom meeting, and he has followed a dream to become a real estate agent. A lot of studying, he's gotten his license, he's kind of taken that big step of courage to go out and to do this on his own. And, you know, all the friends and family support this. And we're all excited to see him go follow his dream. So one of the things I thought would be really fun would be, you know, tell us about Palm Springs. Let us know what kind of houses are out there that might be really exciting, or if you're interested in making a move, give us some tips on what kind of things to look for. Buying a house is extremely stressful, and in most cases, the most largest purchase that most people make in their lifetime. Keeps on going and going, it seems like. There's always maintenance, there's always property taxes, insurance, all of these things to consider. I'm also going to share with you that I have been on a really interesting journey where I've been at a real boot camp, a real live boot camp. And I have learned a lot of different things over the course of the 2 weeks that I've been there. How have you been?
Good, busy, but really good.
I am so excited. I see all of these things that you're posting, and they sound so, I don't know, kind of exciting that Lawrence Welk is like in the neighborhood, and then you come up with all of these other cast of characters. It's just like a regular neighborhood, right? But there's all these
Yeah.
famous people in it.
Yeah, I mean, so you go down that street and you'll find, so like in my video, I pointed out that Lawrence Welk and Truman Capote were neighbors, which if you can think of two people that are more wildly different, and then, and I just think that's fascinating. And there's so many instances like that in Palm Springs where just these, you know, iconic people just lived on a normal street. Somewhere, you know, somewhere in Palm
Yeah.
Springs, and you drive by their house. So
The street shot of Truman Capote's home, and it's in the same neighborhood right here next to Lawrence Welk's home.
so I'm kind of enjoying making videos about that and pointing that out because it's, I don't know, it's just endlessly fascinating to me.
It is very interesting because, you know, when most people think of celebrities, especially people that they see on TV for decades, like Lawrence Welk, going a 1 and a 2 and, you know.
Yeah.
And then they watch on Netflix the movie about Truman Capote. And
Mhm.
first of all, they would never put the two in the same neighborhood. You would think they would have vastly different tastes, right?
Right. Yeah.
But to
Exactly.
drive down the street, and you know, we've driven down the streets together out there, and it's not ostentatious, it's not over the top, it just feels like a normal neighborhood, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think, I mean, that's kind of the difference between today, like famous, super famous people of today and from, you know, years ago. Most people that are really famous now live behind, you know, huge gates, and you can't even get into their neighborhood. And, you know, people from back then, they weren't so protected, you know. It was a totally different time. And so you can just drive by their houses and
Well,
or walk by.
in some cases, they could buy one of the houses from you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's actually, do you know who Keely Smith was?
I don't
She was
think,
kind of an early rock and roll
oh, okay.
person. But she was, I believe, married to Les Paul, who the famous Les Paul
Yeah,
guitarist.
he was very famous.
Hmm. Yeah, so her house is for sale right now. So that's one famous person's house I know is available right now. But
So
there's, yeah,
so
always.
tell me, like, well, how much does something like that cost out there?
Usually, so a lot of those houses are located in neighborhood of well, there's two or three. So Vista Las Palmas, which is a more expensive neighborhood with bigger houses. Old Las Palmas, Movie Colony, and Twin Palms. Those are usually where a lot of those houses are located, where celebrities used to live. And those are usually, they can be anywhere from like 1 million to 5, 6, 7, 8. But I think Keely Smith's house right now, don't quote me, but I think it's like 1.4. So
Gosh, that, when you hear about like really like Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt, or I don't know, just any of these stars of today, a lot of their houses are over $200 million, so when
yeah.
you can buy a celebrity house in a nice neighborhood, and we're talking really beautiful neighborhoods, for $1 million or a little bit more. I mean, that's
Mhm.
really like, wow, why would you not want to do that?
Oh, I know, yeah. And there's, I mean, you think of California too, a lot of, if you go to San Francisco or Los Angeles, the real estate is so expensive, but
Ah,
Palm Springs is still pretty reasonable.
yeah.
And mainly because it's just kind of like a small town still,
Yeah,
it's
I love the vibe out there. I don't feel like I'm judged, like people are looking at me like, ooh, or something like that. I
yeah.
feel like even when we went over to the Trixie Motel, and we filmed over there. I mean, everybody was just like down home. It was like you felt really well cared for, but you also felt like everybody was welcome.
Yeah, and everyone's just kind of here to have a good time, have fun. It seems like most of the time. Like and that's one great thing about living in a town where, a lot of people come for vacation, is everyone's most of the time in a really great mood. So
And I love
yeah.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
Because right now, what I'm doing is always uptight. And I'm like, oh my God. It's just like you cannot relax for 1 second because something horrible might happen, So you're like, okay, let me be ever alert. And the and then you come home exhausted, home for the whole vibe in Palm Springs. I mean, people are creative out there, people are influential. They are so busy doing their own thing. They don't have time to have a problem. They're moving forward. And I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because yeah, people are just kind of expressing themselves and doing their own thing and not worried about, what someone else is going to say or if they'll be offended or whatever. It's just kind of like
Here it is.
be who you
Take it.
are.
Right.
Yeah,
Take it or
take it or
leave it,
leave it.
right?
Yeah,
If you want to leave it, just get out of my face and keep moving forward. Right?
right. Or do your own thing, express
Exactly.
what you're into,
Yeah, because there's plenty of space for everybody.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I
Yeah,
love
actually
that.
this year, I'm helping with the company that I work for, we're doing our first float in the parade. So I'm
Oh,
helping with that. So I'm pretty excited. I'll actually be in the parade this year, so
oh my
that'll be
God,
fun.
that's so cool. That is
Yeah,
so awesome. And
yeah. So
I don't know how Trixie did it with all that big hair. I would have just
I
suffocated.
know.
I know. Someone on the other side.
How you doing, Palm Springs? Happy Pride, Michael O'Hara. We love you. I said hi to Palm Springs. We do. Can I get a woohoo?
Can you imagine how hot that would have
Oh,
been
no,
heavy?
no,
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I'm hoping that in the car they had some kind of air conditioning blowing up her outfit so she could like not die.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be brutal. Yeah, for sure.
very brutal. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, so I saw this, what was it? An aluminum house? Was that you posted?
Oh yeah, the Illuminaire house.
Yeah.
Um, So it's located, it's just south of the Palm Springs Art Museum, and they purchased it. So it was built in 1931. It's kind of like an art installation. And it's before it came here, it was on the East Coast. It was presented, I think, in a couple of art exhibitions. Um, but it's a real house. And it was the first all metal house ever built in the United States. It was built in 1931. It's so cool. It's so Art Deco. So it was going to be torn down. And the Palm Springs Art Museum bought it and then had it all shipped out here, taken apart, shipped out, and then they reconstructed it there. And you can't go in it, unfortunately, because it's not handicap accessible. You can still, walk around it and see inside the windows and everything. It's so cool.
Having a metal house in the desert sun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how well insulated it is or what they got going on for that program. I mean, for all I know, that could be like a barrier in there that air circulates around. Not
I
sure.
know that they had to weather. I read they did something as far as like weatherproofing it for the desert. It's pretty close to where the Maryland statue is also. But when you look at it, it just looks like a giant mirror because it's just basically, chrome. So it's like this giant mirrored house. It's amazing.
It'd be a perfect Barbie house, wouldn't it? It's just,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I could just see like a pink Corvette out front,
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
keep-
that's actually kind of the shape of some of in the Barbie movie. So it reminds me of that.
yeah, and it would look good with a cute little swimming pool by it. Exactly. Have a little champagne in there.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, the stress goes right away then. Well, I asked you about your birthday because when I went to Savannah about a week ago, I found this amazing book. And I found it in a bookstore down there. It's called Drinking with the Saints. And this is a funny book. It's very, very funny. And it has a drink for every day of the year almost. And it's written by Catholics and it's about the Catholic Church a lot. And I'm not Catholic. I mean, I make no secret about that. But here's some interesting tidbits in this book. And I bought this for David because he always likes to come up with something cool, right? So like if you're celebrating somebody's birthday or you've got a special holiday coming up, the Catholics got you covered. There's a drink in here for every occasion. And then
So what's the
there's a story behind every drink too. And
oh,
I'm
okay.
wow. But here's what's so funny that I didn't know. Because, most people look at religion like anti-drinking. And it seems like the Catholic Church kind of embraces it for special occasions. They're not advocating being drunk and going crazy and all of that, but, to enjoy a little bit. So it says beer may have been invented by the ancient Egyptians, but it was perfected by the medieval monasteries, which gave us modern brewing as we know it today. So the world's finest beer is made within the cloisters. So, all of the Belgian beers that I love, all made by monks, all in monasteries.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Huh.
all made by monks in monasteries. And champagne was invented by a Benedictine monk whose name now adorns one of the world's finest champagnes, Dom Perignon. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know,
Oh,
and I love that. That's one of my favorite champagnes. Yeah,
yeah.
isn't that
Huh.
amazing?
That is.
Talked about whiskey, so the saints have diversified, right? So whiskey was invented by Irish monks who probably shared their knowledge with the Scots during their missions. Whiskey was first prescribed medicinally as a cure for paralysis of tongue.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I could see that.
And apparently it works. So no Irishman since has ever been accused of having a paralyzed tongue. You know, I looked up December the 23rd, and they have a special section for Christmas, and then they have a special section called the liturgical seasons, and then they have something called the Advent. So right before, you know, all of these things started kicking off for the holidays, right, for Christmas. But what they call the period between December 17th and December 23rd is the Great or O or antiphons. And
Antiphon? Okay.
yep, and so it used to be the it used to be the tradition that the monks and all of them would go around the monastery and say, keep your O
Oh,
for antiphons, right? So what they're talking about is the great antiphons or the O antiphons that start on December 18th and they or 17th, and then they end on the evening of December 23rd. And the church uses several special antiphons for its office of Vespers. Well, David loves the alcohol named Vesper.
oh.
He drinks it in his cocktails, right?
Mhm.
That call upon Jesus Christ under a different title. So every day there's a different title during those 5 days, right? So it's O Wisdom one day, O Adonai another day, O Root of Jesse, O Key of David, O Dawn, O King of the Gentiles, O Emmanuel. So on your birthday, it's O Emmanuel. So it says exercise your imagination, and you can come up with brewed, fermented, or distilled tributes to the various titles of our Lord in the O antiphons. For instance, a fiery whiskey might work for Adonai, who appeared in the burning bush on December 18th. So you can make it like a party.
Okay.
It's like funny. But you know, if you pick out any other birthday, they will like say on October the 23rd, for example. That's called Saint Boethius. And he's a graduate with a liberal arts education and may be surprised to see saint prefixed to the name of the author of the famous Consolidation of Philosophy. But the drink that they prescribe for that day is called Wheel of Fortune, and they give you the recipe, and then they give you all of the story. And it's just kind of hilarious. These stories, they come up with all these saints that have been put into the Catholic Church. So it's kind of like art history, philosophy, and religion all mixed into a party theme if you wanted to have a party.
That sounds great to me.
It's a funny book, and it's by Michael Foley. So at the bookstore, the Catholic bookstore, it was $40, but I went on Amazon and I got it for $15.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there's quite a few different versions of it, but I think it's so cool. So I gave that to David as I was traveling and doing my boot camp and doing all of that. And all I can say is that was the funniest thing I've read so far. It's just hilarious.
Interesting. Yeah. So what's the drink on your birthday?
Well, here's the thing. My birthday is one of the few days that doesn't have a drink. So the lady at the store said, well, you should do this then. You should celebrate starting the day before and the day after your birthday. On your real estate, I just want to tell you, it is just so nice that you're living in Palm Springs, that you've taken such a huge leap of believing in yourself and just going for it. And so many people are like paralyzed with fear to do that because all they can think about is failure. But you know what? What happens if you succeed, right?
Right. Yeah, and you'll never know. I don't know where, so this whole year has been kind of, like a lot of changes. And that's kind of something, like you were saying, it's something that's run through my head all year is like, if I don't do this, then I'll always, look back and regret it, or, wonder what could have happened. You'll never know until you try. So,
And you're at a point in your life where you really wanted to do something breakthrough and different, because your previous job was sort of like mundane, that you got like in a rut and you were like, I'm like over it kind of attitude, right?
yeah, it was very monotonous. I don't think I want that life. I just want to do something that really inspires me and really something I want to get up. I'm excited every day to get up and do. Life's too short to not do that. So I feel like I found something where I can really enjoy working, where it doesn't feel like work.
And you get to meet all kinds of new people doing open houses and showing houses and all of that, which is
So,
exciting.
when you've lived somewhere for a little while, you drive by on your way to the mall or whatever, and you're like, gosh, I wonder what the inside of that house looks like. It's so cool on the outside. And then I get to do that all the time.
Of course, it would be wonderful to live on one of those mountains. You can see for miles and miles from one of these beautiful mountains in Palm Springs. Those mountains are just breathtaking. I was amazed at how many people live in Los Angeles but own property in Palm Springs. And they like, the season of where people come and they rent for, the travel season. And then when the travel season's over, boom, they've pretty much paid for the house for a whole year just off of those few months that people come to stay there on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very common. There's lots of Airbnbs and VRBOs and just month-long rentals and things like that out here. Come to unwind and relax, and everybody is here to just enjoy themselves. And
I think that the attitude is there of being yourself, being free, and doing your thing without having to pay a horribly high price, like in Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. I have been going there ever since I've been born. Honestly, the real estate prices there are just suffocating. So I think you're there at the right time, because it is reasonable, and people who want to invest, they can come and see you and get some cool ideas, and you can show them where the stars lived and what's available and all the cool stories. You can talk about the stories behind the houses. And that's what people want. When they come to buy a house, they want to know it's special. They want to know that they got something unique, right?
Well, and that's kind of where I got the idea of making those videos. Is I would go on, we'd go look at houses with potential buyers, and they'd always want to know, if someone had owned that, someone famous had owned it, or if it was designed by a specific architect. I could do like a whole series of videos just on the front doors out here, or like the front entryways of houses, because everyone is different. And they're all so amazing.
Remember the one day we went down a street, not too far from where we filmed my music video, where I was running down the street. You can see this clip in my latest music video, When I Grow Up. There was a house that had a custom-made front door and gate that looked like it was bronze, taking metalwork, and then lovely woodwork. This looked like an art museum. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, and people, they really pride themselves on their houses being different.
Those little touches don't cost $1 million, but they're so artistic and so differentiating that you can feel special, and that somebody cared for it enough to put a special little touch of their own on it. Well, I did something based upon your recommendations. So you were having this little laser. I went and got one of these things, and I've been doing this. I've only used it 3-4 times. And I don't know if this is the same brand or not, but I got this. It's called Glow 24K. I do the face and the neck, and I just do it at bedtime every night. And it goes through 7 different colors of lights. It has tightened up my skin. I mean, I've only used it 4 times and I can see a difference.
So I have to tell you, right before this,
Yeah.
I was I wanted to look my best because I was going to be on camera and stuff.
Right,
So
right. It hits all of the acupuncture points in your face. And, you're going up and you're hitting, so around the eyes especially, I've noticed. So all around in here, if you want to do a lymphatic massage and drain your lymph system, I run this around on those points and it has the same effect. So you get like a lymphatic drainage actually.
yeah, and I don't know if the one that you have, does it vibrate?
It sort of vibrates. It's mainly these different colors of lights, and then they tell you what each color does. The red one is my particular favorite. So they have like blue and green and yellow and red. Anyway, 7 colors. But the red especially is meant for aging skin. It's the one that more tightens it, but it stimulates the collagen and healing process and all of that sort of thing.
Anti-inflammation too.
And who doesn't have that problem? Everybody seems to
Yeah.
have inflammation because whatever they stick in the food makes you inflamed. It's not that expensive compared to going to the dermatologist and having the basic same thing.
So I use it, I like to use it on my neck because it kind of causes, promotes the lymphatic drainage from with your eustachian tubes,
Yeah.
going to your ears and stuff.
Yeah.
So it even kind of helps with that.
I bought it from Shop HQ. You don't only have to go up, you can also go down and you can go in circles. But whatever you're doing, you can actually, like when I got done one night, I just actually felt like my whole face had just relaxed
Yeah.
from stress that day. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like getting a facial massage. It was just like, wow, that's really kind of cool. I think maybe 124 or something like that. It wasn't crazy. It was not a bad situation, but I highly recommend it. And thank you for putting me onto it. Tell everybody hello for me. And I hope you have fun
Yeah.
tonight. Celebrate your ass off and have a great time. Okay.
Thanks, will do.
You're
Yeah, it's so
looking
nice talking to
great.
you. I miss you.
Yeah, I miss you too. You're looking great. You're looking like the California vibe is working for you.
Yeah, I love it out here. At first it was kind of like it was a bit of a change, bit of a culture shock, but now I feel like it's really home.
Yeah.
So I've met like a lot of great people out here and have a great I'm just enjoying working and living out here. Yeah, it's good.
And I know
I'm
you're
happy.
going to meet some more fun people and fascinating things. And you never know, when you're on set and you're doing background work, you might get discovered and get to do something really exciting. So I'm
You
rooting
never
for you.
know. Yeah.
Sounds
I'm
amazing.
excited.
Love you. Take
Great to catch
care.
up. Love you too. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you have any topics you'd like us to cover, anything that you would like us to elaborate on, let us know that. Your feedback is valuable. Thank you for watching the Rebel Podcast. Now go and glow and be everything you've dreamed of being.